That hill doesn't look too appetising, does it? Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today I am for the first time ever doing a turnaround flight, and it's a charter flight, It's a charter flight as well. Thank you to Graham Waters, who has chartered 2 flights in one go. He wanted me to do a really long journey up through Norway and way up north, possibly the northest I'll ever fly, and he's chartered 2 of them because one journey was too long for the parameters, so he said it's up to me, and I wanted to do 2 journeys here. So we're going from Oslo Gardermoen, which is where we are now in this gorgeous sunrise setting. We're going up to Tromsø today, ENTC, and then we're going to go even further north than that. I've got a second sheet under here hidden, ready to go, to Svalbard Longyearbyen, which is the furthest northern airport, I think, other than like the Arctic and so on. So we are doing it though. This is where I need to apologise to Graham slightly. He asked to do it as Norwegian Airlines but in an Airbus, and for me it's more important what the aircraft is than what the livery is. Unfortunately Norwegian don't fly Airbus A320s, so we're going to be flying in the A320neo today, which I'm really excited to get back in because I've not flown the fly-by-wire Neo for a long time, so expect me to get stuff wrong. But we're flying for Scandinavian as Sierra Echo Rosca Jesus. Romeo, Oscar, Juliet. We are going to be connecting to VATSIM today, and the flight number is going to be Scandinavian 17 Charlie and then 1 Charlie Delta as we go further north from Tromsø. So, I'm going to bring up VPilot. We're going to connect today as SAS 17 Charlie, and we are in an A20N, Airbus A320neo. We'll connect and see if there's anybody else on here at Gardermoen. I've got GSX for this place. I've got the scenery as well. This is the Aerosoft Gardermoen, and it is, I must say, fantastic. I've never seen Gardermoen before, but yeah, it's lovely, and I really do like these very modernised jetways, you know, with this sort of glass bit where you can come through. Looks like has it stuck another jetway through there? No. Oh, it's the 2 walkways, so one goes up, one goes down. I thought it had clashed the 2 types of jetway then. But yeah, look at this terminal. It's absolutely mega. There's a Sun class A321 parked here, and we, of course, are in the glorious Scandinavian A320neo. This is a free livery that I got from Flight Sim TO. It's one that I've added to my huge list of aircraft in Volantis, and I now have 88 aircraft in there as opposed to just the 87 I had previously, using my usual VATSIM scratchpad that you can download from a link in the description. Just bear with me 1 second, because I'm using the fly-by-wire A320neo checklist today. So we're going to start by going up top, and we're going to put the batteries 1 and 2 on, and then we're going to put external power on very loud. APU master switch comes on. We then wait a couple of seconds to click APU start, and then we whack on the APU bleed. Crew oxygen supply comes on. Adia's going to nav. I put them left, right, and then centre. Don't know why, I just always do. Nav and logo light comes on, and then we have the strobe light to auto. We're going to put the seatbelt signs on. No smoking to auto, and arm the emergency exits. Oh, excuse me. Arm emergency exits. We want to do our fire tests. Luckily, in the fly-by-wire, they just beep straight away. Fuel pumps. We're going to put the fuel pumps on. We can set the fuel and passenger load on the EFB, the little fly pad thingy. Then flight directors come on, fuel quantity, and then barrows. So flight directors are already on. And we'll come down here to the fly pad. Get rid of the coffee, because you all know that I don't drink coffee. Fuel and payload imported, which is really good. So, we import the sim brief data, which is already done. Air pressure is 1008, so we're going to put 1008 on there, and it's done it on both sides. That's good, it syncs up. We need to then get the MCDU set up, but let's just check the fuel, shall we? Where do we check the fuel again? Is it in here? Fuel. Bring that in. Yep, it's imported the right fuel. We'll refuel it fast. Should we get the passengers boarding now? Let's get passengers boarding, but let's also do it via GSX as well, so we can make that look nice and pretty. Got Menzies operating the GSX today. Is it already doing it? Is that why it's come up like that? I wonder why it's doing this. Anyway, for now, we'll get to the FMC, shall we? Or the MCDU, Jesus Christ, I keep getting that wrong between the 2 aircraft. So we're going to go to init press. We're going to do an init data request. That'll bring in the flight number, ENGM to ENTC. We then want to go to init, do an init request here. There we go, it is grabbing all of that. It's interesting to see the difference between this on here compared to how it is in the Phoenix. Block fuel for today, I've got that up on SimBrief over on my left-hand side. The block fuel is 5437, so we're going to go 5.5 in the block fuel today. We're then going to go to our perf page.
Boarding completed.
Speed's not in. They have done that very, very quickly. Wow. Okay. Not a full flight today either, so it's not so bad. Now, is GSX going to play? Yes, we've chosen. Just going to get that script and everything to restart because clearly something has gone wrong there. I think it's maybe because I've asked for boarding in the fly-by-wire itself. So we want to get the MCDU all set up in terms of our flight plan. So in terms of the departure today, we are departing from, let me show you, this is our route. We're just tickling the coast of Sweden. Runway 19 right and the rib 6D departure. 19 right, rib 6D, insert that. And then for our arrival, we're going to be going into Tromsø on runway 36 via the Atweg 1 Lima. ILS 36 is there. Atweg 1 Lima. Was there a transition on there? No, it doesn't look like it. So what we'll now do is go up here like this, try and get both in, put this switch to plan, and then go to flight plan. We'll clear that, and we'll just check on this screen here what this looks like. If there's any discontinuities, there usually is as you come into an approach.
Get 11 90228, 10 miles final for runway 19 left.
Looks like we're all good actually in terms of the flight plan. That's banging news. We then need to go in and we need to calculate our performance on the MCDU. The perf should be ready to go. We're going to go flaps 1 for takeoff. What's the flex to temp going to be? Is there a way of figuring that out on the iPad? I cannot remember if it calculates. Yes, okay. The airport is ENGM. Runway is going to be 19 right. It's got all that. Runway condition is dry. Temperature... What is the temp today? Temperature outside is -1. Wow. So very, very cold. QNH 1008. Takeoff weight. Does it tell us? It tells me on here, estimated takeoff weight is 58.8 tons. So 5880. Let's put 59,000 in. Anti-ice. We will put anti-ice on. And we'll calculate. Have we missed anything? Oh, winds. Winds are 108 at 2. Calculate. There we go. V-speeds. Wow, slow. Sorry, fast. Very fast. 151, did that say? 151, 153, 153. Wow. That is higher than... no, not V-speed 15. Imagine that, 15 knots. It's not a Cessna. Or a Cub. What is the flex to temp? Did that tell me on there as well? 64. Zulane. I think that's pretty good to go there. We are, yeah, flight level 370 today, so that's absolutely spot on. Okay, I'd say that is complete. Let's just see if we can get GSX to play ball, shall we, and animate some boarding for us. Why are you doing this? I want boarding and stuff, please, but why are you doing that? Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like GSX does not want to play ball, so we're going to just ignore all of that. We've got everything all done. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of the jet bridge now, because is it going to do it if I do that? Yeah, it's getting rid now. That's interesting. So it's almost as if you can control GSX from this. And now I've tried to get rid of it. It's coming back. Are we ready to go? Are we going to be ready to go anytime soon? The MCDU is ready. Takeoff data is set. No, we need the departure altitude. And we need to find out the initial altitude of the departure. Although that's a little bit later on, is it not? No, I'm going to get that in now anyway. So if we come out on the Ribis 6D, there's actually no restrictions.
Traffic, Scandinavian 928, runway 19
oh, actually, what's it say?
Now taxiing via
Ribis 6D, max 203 knots below flight level. Yeah.
182.
Instructed. Transition altitude 7,000. Well, what we'll do is we'll go to 5. We'll set 5. And then we'll go up to 5,000 feet. And then once we get there and we get to Rib 6D, then we'll start climbing and we'll go through transition altitude then. Right then, so are we all good to go, everybody? Are we good to go, Graham? Are you expecting a good one from me today? Because I am. It's great to be back in the fly-by-wire, using the Thrustmaster TCA Captain X-Pax controls. As always, really, really good bit of kit. I'm just stalling a little bit, I'm not going to lie to you. Right, can we prepare for push and start via this? GSX has been a bit of a knob. Right, I've restarted it now, so now we can get... I'm not going to do the boarding now because it's all done actually. The aircraft physically has the people on board, so we're going to prepare for pushback and departure. We're going to go with Menzies, and we are going to get de-icing, yes. I'm sorry, that was very, very loud. I've never been de-iced before. That's really cool. I really like that. I'm glad that they animate stuff like that. It's really clever. But it happens a lot, so why would we not do it here? We're going to be going somewhere very, very cold. The dew point is -8 at the moment, and it is -1 degrees Celsius outside.
De-icing and anti-icing completed. And the icing code is fluid type 1. Concentration at 50%. I am disconnecting. Good day.
Thank you very much, mate. Mucho appreciate. Then we're going to be ready for push and start.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
Okay, at this point I'm going to look at my taxi route out here at Gardermoen, and we need to check where we're going. So we're taking off on runway 19 right today, which is this way. So we're going to push back and we're going to face west on Gulf, and then we're going to go literally just down November all the way. So I'm going to write that on my scratch pad that I've got down here. QNH is 1008 as well. I forgot to write that down. We're going to be squawking 2000. Need to whack the squawk code in. 2000. Put that on TA. Put that on auto as well. We'll get the predicted wind shear on early. We'll lock the cockpit door. And we're going to push back onto Gulf from stand 20, and we're going to taxi to runway 19 right via Gulf. November. The holding point is... Oh no, what's straight? Position 1 and position 2. I'll just go position 1. Parking brakes off. Let's check where we're going to be holding Alpha 9er.
Gardermoen traffic, Canadian 4615, pushback startup from gate 61.
Gardermoen traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, pushing back stand 20. Gardermoen traffic. Oh yeah, that's changed over to the APU now. Thank God for that. Right, so we've got our checklist as well before start, so we need to put the beacon light on, which will come on now. We need to put the thrust levers to idle, parking brake, APU on, external power disconnected, engine switch to ignition and start. But obviously, because of the icing conditions, as they've told us, we're going to wait. Are they just literally going to push us back here? Is that it?
This is parking brake.
Yeah. Wow.
Unlocking gear.
Okay, so we've had word that we are clear to start engines, so parking brakes are set, engine switch to ignition and start. We've got APU bleed and everything on already. Let's get the engine number 2 started. I forgot how good the noises were that this aircraft makes. It makes some right good rackets. Wait for the click for it to switch over to the bus transfer of the engines. Sorry, there's the click. Electrical power going from the APU to the engines. We should get available in just a moment's time on here. There we go. That now means that we can start engine number 1. Okay, sounds like we are all golden and ready to go. Yep, awesome. So let's get to our before taxi checklist, shall we? Engine switch goes back to normal. Flaps set. We're going to go flaps 1 for takeoff today. Has that set them? Yes, it just didn't make much of a noise. Speed brakes are going to get armed. Let's arm them. APU bleed and APU master switch comes off. There we go. Anti-ice, let's get engine 1 and 2 and wing, just in case, you never know. Taxi light on. Awesome. Cool. Gardermoen and traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, taxiing runway 19 right via November, Gardermoen and traffic. Parking brake comes off. And we need to turn fully right. Not quite sure what that pushback was all about. It's a bit of a strange location to push us back to. So we have to sort of taxi round in a circle like this. Don't forget this aircraft accelerates quite, well, severely, quite strongly under its own power. So we're going to be going here.
Traffic, Scandinavian 4695. We are taxiing Romeo and Victor Sierra on the point runway 19 left.
They're going 19 left. Okay, so we're going Golf, and then November is our second right here. So this is onto hotel. Going to go right onto November, make sure there's no aircraft coming. God, the conditions for this flight are going to be absolutely gorgeous. Hope you're enjoying the videos so far, Graham. Thank you very much for chartering these 2 flights for today, keeping me busy on this Tuesday morning. And again, apologies that it's not a Norwegian Airlines aircraft, but like I say, I'm sure that you'd rather me fly the Airbus still in the wrong colours than fly the wrong aircraft altogether and fly the 737. Auto brakes go to max, then cabin needs to be checked. And we'll go for a takeoff config test. Takeoff config shows as normal. That's fantastic news. Before takeoff, yep, initial altitude set, radar as required, predicted wind shear on auto, terrain on ND. We'll put that on anyway. I don't think it works in the fly-by-wire actually. Transponder auto or on. It's going to go to TA and RA when we get onto the runway. We need, ECAM memo, then it's just landing lights, nose light, strobe light when we get onto the runway. There's a departure going out on our left. How cool is it what we do? Norwegian Airlines 737 making its way out. I think I've got a dome light on here and something. Don't want the dome light on if it's on. Yeah, there we go. I was going to say it looked like the cockpit was mighty lit up earlier on. Oh, look at that. Military Hercules and a C-17. I did not know there was any stuff like that here. Oh, got excited by aircraft. Okay, are we ready for takeoff? Are we ready to get pretty much straight on with it? I am. Don't know if you are. We just need to do the lights when we get on the runway, and then we'll be good. I'm going to slow it down a little bit because we're going very quickly here. We're doing over 30 knots on the taxiway. Gardermoen traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie will depart straight out of runway 19 right. Gardermoen traffic. Lovely moonrise set thingy up there. Not quite sure how accurate that'll be. So we're going just completely north. We're going to be sort of chasing daylight a little bit. And Graham did mention that when it is summer or winter, you usually get...
traffic, Scandinavian 4695 via Bravo 8. We are lining up 19 left and departing Visma 1 Charlie and Gargon.
He said you do usually get like full day, full night, like all day or all night. So you have to be ready for that in winter and summer. So lights on, we need to put the strobe on. Engine anti-ice is all sorted. Flaps are set. We're good to go. We need to get that TA and RA on actually. Tiny little switch down there. Get that to on. Gardermoen traffic. Scandinavian 17 Charlie departing runway 19 right. Let's get it up to 50%. It's been a while since I've flown the Neo. Looking forward to this. It's got a heap of power. Let's go. Okay, Manflex 64 SRS runway auto thrust is blue. Feeling good. 80 knots. 100 knots. 120. 140. V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. A little bit aggressive on the initial rotation. Fantastic. Gardermoen traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, passing 1,500 feet. Look at this. Oh, look at the departing aircraft on the other runway. Mega. Lever into climb. A320neo doing its thing. Effortless takeoff as always. Flaps clean. Autopilot in. And let's do our after takeoff checklist, shall we? So landing gear came up, flaps are retracted. Packs, well, they're off now. Speed brakes disarmed. Take them back down. Nose light off. And then runway and takeoff lights. Sorry. Runway and runway. Takeoff. Nose lights off. Runway turn-offs off. Landing lights and seatbelts as required when we get to 10,000 feet. We're headed up to 5,000 feet now. Let's have some beautiful beauty shots. Okay, we're still flying the departure at 5,000 feet. As you can agree, it is absolutely gorgeous out there. I will actually climb a little bit early, I think. Let me just check where we are roughly on the departure. Oh yeah, we're not staying 5,000 feet all that way. Now we've got past Vemin, we will climb to our altitude of 370. So let's whack that in here. Gardermo in traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, climbing flight level 370. Have a good day. Let's go. Let's climb. Well, it is absolutely gorgeous out here. We need to come into standard pressure, which we have done now on our way up. I said I'd do that a little bit earlier. I didn't put my clock on. Let's just check there's anything else needs doing. We're above 10,000 feet now, so the landing lights come off. You can excuse me for being distracted by the fact that we've got all the pretty weather outside. Did I still have? No, I thought I had APU bleed still on there. But God, look at this. I need to fly up here more often, to be honest with you. Even if this was not just a sunrise situation, this would still be absolutely beautiful, wouldn't it? Incredible. So the plan is that we continue heading north now. We are going in a long old straight line. It's not the most interesting flight in a twisty sort of route. It's quite straight, and then even the ILS when we get there is very straight as well. Look, we're just sort of coming at Atweg. We'll be descending long before that and then glancing our way in to Tromsø. We'll choose a stand and all that a little bit later on when we get closer to it, but for now I'm going to enjoy the climb up to cruise and yeah, get some beauty shots in. Thanks once again to Grey Waters for chartering this one. We have a fierce crosswind actually at the moment that I just wanted to tell you about. We've got 84 knots as we're climbing. Look at how sideways the aircraft is going. It's crazy. You can actually see it from this camera angle when you do this. I'm sorry, this is going to get loud for a sec, but when you go to this, that's like chase cam, so that's travelling straight forwards. That's how sideways aircraft get. It's remarkable. Just a quick note as well, while we're in the cruise now, well, we're just getting up to it, we're just getting up to 37,000 feet. We now have 126 knot crosswind. We are going about 15 degrees sideways, but this contrail ahead of us here, this aircraft, is actually, I'll show you on Volanta, it is the pilot Gorka Timmer as Norwegian, or Nordic 7 Tango Echo, and he's doing the same flight, he's going the same route as me, ENGM to ENTC. He's at 39,000 feet though, and he's in a Boeing 737 MAX 8, so he's going a little bit higher and a little bit faster than me, but he's the one that we saw take off from Oslo just earlier, so we're sort of chasing him down so to speak, at the present moment. But yeah, going to enjoy the cruise now, and then I'll catch you as we get to our descent preparation. Well, I was wondering whether I had to keep doing beauty shots as we went along because of the sun rising, but because we're so far north, the sun isn't rising. It's a long time later, and it's still this dark. So I'm wondering what it's going to be like when we get the second leg of this journey from Tromsø up to Svalbard and Longyearbyen. So, the next parts of the flight that we need to do is to get the performance and information in for the arrival airport. So we're going to... How do we refresh this? Is there any way of refreshing it, or is it just to just do it? I think it'll be alright. So, yeah, it has refreshed because that's changed from earlier on. So the air pressure when we get down there is 995. So what I'm going to quickly do is whack this in and then go 995. That's fine. Moan at me all you want. Shut your gob. Then we go straight back into standard. And then we need to put this information into the MCDU. So we go into perf, go to next phase and go to approach. So the QNH is going to be 9 and 9 and 5 as we've just put in there. Temperature, I think it said -8. So you want to get -8. No, dew point is -8. It's actually -3. My bad. Winds. Winds are 70 at 7. 70 at... What am I doing? 7. Flipping it, Chaz, get it in. We're going to go full config. VAP is 125 at the moment. We need to find the barometric minimums. So we're going to look at the ILS chart on the way in. It's a Cat C aircraft, so it is 385 on the baro minimums. So 385, you don't have to do a shed load of scrolling like you do in the 737. I'm sorry if I'm talking funny, by the way. I've bitten my lip really bad while I've been in the cruise. You might be able to see it. And it absolutely kills. Another thing I've been keeping my eye on is if you go to the prog page, you can put in the airport and then the runway number, and it tells you the overall distance to it. Now we should be getting to top of descent pretty soon, actually. If I go to perf, yeah, 68 miles from top of descent. And one thing that Drew tells me to do on here, which I will be doing a training flight with Drew again soon. We were hoping to schedule it for this week, but he's been busy, so we're going to push it back, I think, to the weekend. So there might be this video and another one before you see that. But one thing he's told me to do is put prog in there, check what the overall distance is, and then when you try and plan when your descent is going to be, as a bit of a fallback from the aircraft deciding when the top of descent is, you take your altitude flight level. So here it's, you take 37, so it's your altitude in thousands of feet, 37, times it by 3 and add 15. So 37 times 3, what's that, 111? And then, yeah, 3 times 7, 21. So yeah, 111, add 15, so it's 126 miles. So if that aircraft tells us that our top of descent was less than 126 miles from the airport, then we'd just take over and be like, right, look, I am descending this thing now. We've got 61 miles to top of descent, and we are 168 from the airport. So actually, you know what? That might be a good reason to see that and think, because that's in a straight line to the airport though, so that might take a big chunk out of the journey. So let me just have a quick ganders on here. And it's pretty much a straight line, actually. Wonder whether we descend early, so whether we get to this screen, and when we get to 126 miles, ooh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. We need to figure out what altitude we're going to be going down to as well. If we go back on this chart, it will tell us we intercept the ILS at 5,000 feet. Actually, we intercepted the localizer at 2580, but we go to 5,000 feet and then we start coming in. On the arrival, what are the restrictions like? We're on the ATWEG, so it's, 5,000. So we'll be putting 5,000 in here. Let me zoom in for you so you can see me do it. 5,000 on there. And then we'll click that when it comes to it. So I'm going to actually do that when we get 126 miles away on this page. It may be descending early, but I'd rather descend early than too late. You've all seen what happens when I get a little bit too close to the airport and don't descend on time. So yeah, we'll carry on for a little bit and then get to our top of descent. Crazy, isn't it, how it's actually still going dark, and it's what, UTC time is 9:15. That's nuts. So here in the UK right now it's 11:25. I was hoping to do this a few hours earlier, but I had a few things to do this morning, so I've pushed the time back to the original time I was going to do. So in terms of real world time, I'm a little bit behind. Out of tank fuel crossfeed, we've got 2.6 on board in terms of fuel, and it reckons we'll have 2.3 when we get there. We are 34 miles from top of descent, 142. Okay. Accuracy is still high. Now, something you've got to be careful about going this far north is because you're so close to the magnetic North Pole that it can cause issues with your aircraft and with your navigation, so you have to be mighty careful with it. All we need to get ready for in terms of the checklists is the landing lights and passenger signs at this point. We've got all the information in, the minimums and all of the other bits that we need for the approach, so it's all good. It's got the baro minimums on there, look, 385. It'll have the ILS and everything tuned in, ready to go a little bit later, and it's just a case of landing the puppy. And then we've got turnaround time, so I'm going to stay in the sim, sort out my flight plan, import all of it, put it in the aircraft, and then we'll start again and we'll carry on all in one sitting. I'm not going to load out of the aircraft at any point. I have been told the scenery at Longyearbyen or at Svalbard is in World Update 5 from Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I've not had any scenery from there. I got some freeware at Tromsø, so hopefully that looks okay. But there was some scenery released for the final destination a while ago, and apparently it's now obsolete because of World Update 5, so it's all rocky and horrible. So I've left it as it is on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it seems okay. There you can see our top of descent marker, 20 miles away, but we are 128 away, so I'm going to press this in just a minute, you know, and get the aircraft descending a little bit early. It might descend nice and shallow early, which is fine, but I'm going to do it when that says, well, 126, so we'll do it now, shall we? So we go over, push that, Mach, descent, sound, altitude is listed in blue, the aircraft is beginning to descend. Like I say, nice and shallow. It will manage the speed and everything. We're going to be below profile for a while. I'd rather be below it than above it. Do we let people know at Tromsø that we're starting to descend? We will. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, flight level 370, planning the Atweg 1 Lima arrival for runway 36, Tromsø traffic. It does say Langnes. Do we have to say that instead? Because we say Gardermoen at Oslo. I wonder if I'm not saying that right. Still, we're descending, we're 1,000 feet below profile. We're all good. All good. Okay, the aircraft has slowed its descent slightly and now starting to catch up with profile again. So we're descending at about 3,000 feet a minute currently, just going through 33,000. A little crosswind of 23 knots. I think we'll be alright on this. It's sort of caught back up to the top of descent that it wanted earlier on. So let's just have a look at the approach, shall we? Make sure we've got this all good to go. Let's put it on plan. Go into Atweg next up, then Vedig. Then we get to the bottom of the descent, then we descend again. That's cool. So we get to 5,000 feet. And then straight in, yeah, cool, sounds good to me. We're going below profile now. We are speeding a little bit, so the aircraft is trying to figure out what it's doing speed-wise. Throttles to idle, we've caught up with the profile, and now it is reducing speed. The aircraft is sort of bouncing between throttle idle and speed. It sort of points the nose down a little bit, and then it realises it's overspeeding, so then it slows it down again, and then it goes down. You can see it doing it now. It's sort of wobbling its way down a little bit, which is quite intriguing. Still can't believe how dark it is, and it's getting darker and it's still morning. That's the weird thing. The sun has risen for a tiny bit and now it's going to set again. It's so strange. It's almost permanent nighttime at this far north at this time of year. It's really cool. I realised earlier as well, by the way, the 737 we were chasing, which was Nordic 7 Tango Echo, is not on VATSIM. So I don't know what aircraft that was we were chasing, but that person is on Volanta, so I can see them on there, but they're not flying on VATSIM today. So I don't know who that was. It's really strange, because I'm connected to VATSIM, but it wasn't picking it up in Volanta, so don't know. This has got to be the prettiest flight I've done. Surely. Can you think of prettier? I can't. About 2,000 feet a minute down at present. Not quite sure if we're actually going to descend quickly enough, because looking at where the aircraft ahead of us is, they're at 10,000 feet. It'll only be 5 minutes until we drop that much height. What's our progress to the airport? 64 miles. So what is it? Altitude times 3, 60, add 15. We need 75 miles to be on the deck. So hopefully that reduces even further soon. So it seems like we are a little bit hot here. Not sure whether that's just my maths that's off. We'll have to see. In terms of other things to prepare us, we just need to do landing lights and seatbelt signs when we get in. We'll put the auto brakes let's put them on medium for today. We'll get them ready for when we land. We're not going to arm the spoilers or anything just yet, because I don't know if I'm going to need them to add a little bit more drag. Just trying to figure out what else there is to do, to be honest with you. I need to put anti-ice on when we get below 10,000 feet as well, just in case there's any moisture or anything down there, because it is going to be mighty, mighty cold. Going to be those 3 switches up there. But I'm feeling really good about this. I do love flying the Airbus. It's, for me, I've spent a lot more time in this, so there's a lot more knowledge there for the Airbus compared to the 737. I do want to fly the 737 a bit more, just because there's something a little bit more manual about it. I don't know what it is, but you have to do a little bit more in that thing, and it's really cool as a result. But for sort of enjoyable, just sort of chilled flying on a flight sim, the Airbus is definitely the one for me. We're right at the bottom of this purple range as well, which is really good. So we're doing the slowest speed we could, so we are descending and we're not exceeding anything. So the aircraft is performing really well at the moment. But then again, it's an A320neo. It's an incredible, incredible bit of kit. It's really good fun to switch between this and the Phoenix with the other engines, the IAEs and the CFMs. I mean, this has got CFMs on it, but still, the performance difference between this and the CEO A320 is just awesome, and that's what's really good fun about swapping between the two, because you have to get used to the aircraft's capability at different parts of the flight. So we're at 15,000 feet now, just getting into Atweg, and in a little bit I'll be getting ready for my plan for the next flight, ENTC up to, ENSB, which is, let me just show you how far north we're going. So obviously this is the UK, Oslo here, we've gone all this way up, we're going all the way up there, we are going a long old way north. Like, look at that. That's as far as the map goes north. It's incredible. Thank you once again to Graham Waters for chartering this flight. Really do appreciate it. And chartering the next one as well. He's been generous enough to charter 2 in one go, because he knew that the distance was too far for just one flight as per my website. So I really appreciate that, mate. Again, apologies for not flying for Norwegian, but I wanted to make sure I was still in the A320neo as you requested. So I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Oh. We've got someone over radios, but they're not making much noise. I'm going to pull for open descent here, you know. And I'm going to pull at 2,000 feet a minute. Just going to increase the descent that little bit. The aircraft has actually brought itself up to speed now, which is interesting to see, because it's not in managed speed anymore. It'll reduce that speed again in a minute, because we're going to go for less than 250 knots, because we're going to get to 10,000 feet. It's sped up to keep up with it, and now it's dropping it down again. Funny, innit? Okay, we're getting to 10,000 feet now, so landing lights are coming on. Passenger seatbelt signs are already on. And when I do that as well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to whack the anti-ice on. We'll probably get some warnings saying that we're not going to be picking up any ice, but I'd rather just have it, just in case, because as you can see, there's a load of cloud here, a load of moisture. I don't want to risk going through it and having any issues with icing. Okay, the aircraft is slowing down now. We're at 9,000 feet, or it's hopefully slowing down, so we'll bring a bit of air brake in, speed brake. Brought that down to half here, just to try and slow puppy down. That hill doesn't look too appetising, does it? Come out of standard pressure now into QNH 9 and 905, and we'll put the descent back into managed. Throttles have gone back to idle, speed brake's coming out, and the aircraft is going to manage all of this for us. Going to put landing system on. Look at that, boom, picked it up straight away. Feeling good. What else are we going to do then? So, auto throttle is still armed. Auto brakes as required. We've got them on medium. We're going to arm the ground spoilers now. Flaps will be set very, very soon. Speed brakes, like I say, armed. Why is that there twice? ECAM memo. Needs to be all green and no blue. We'll be making a left turn soon. The airport should be over yonder somewhere. I think it's over that way. Look at these hills here. That's mighty close, isn't it? God, when you're flying out here, it really does feel like you're out in like the vast wilderness. It's crazy. So we're going to get to the bottom of our descent at Vammen, which is going to be very well done by the aircraft, I must say. Hats off. And then as we get to Etutu, that's when we're going to start coming in. Just trying to keep an eye out for the airport. There's hills and stuff all around us at the moment, so we need to be mighty, mighty careful. How far are we from the airport? 20 miles. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, 20 miles from airports. Tromsø traffic. Perfectly northern facing airfield. There's no aircraft around us on approach as well, so it's just going to be us. Oh, bit of a frame freeze there, bit of a stutter. Wonder if it was loading in the airport or something. Throttles to idle. Wondering whether I asked the aircraft for a little bit less speed now, although it does say 210 knots, so it's going to do that anyway. It's going to slow itself down. Once it gets to that, we'll obviously put a notch of flaps in, just to give it that assistance. There is the runway on our display, so I'm going to hit approach now. Cat 1, Cat 3 single, beautiful, it's got it. Looking for these little orange lines. We can go flap 1 right now if we need to. I'm going to just in case. And there is runway in sight, everybody. Look at this approach over this hill, that's awesome. It'll have the glide slope very soon, I'm sure. Is the aircraft trying to go all the way down to VAP already? We'll go 180. I think Drew said 180 to 6, flap 2. Oh, a bit early for that. Sorry, I thought I saw the orange lines there. Oh no, it's at 200, sorry, flap 2. My bad. There we go, there the aircraft is dropping speed. Gear is coming down, ladies and gents. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, 15 miles to run. Okay, so 180 till 6, then we really slow it down. Let's get the cabin checked, shall we? So that's 7.5, so that's 5. So when we get to about there, when the runway reaches there, that's when we're going to come down from 180 to our VAP. We're just going to hit that into manage. The aircraft will really slow it down. Auto brakes are set to medium. Let's just go through, make sure everything's all good. ECAM no memo. ECAM no memo. ECAM memo no blue. Just about to get the glide slope now. There it is. And we are descending on the approach, ILS 36. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, fully established, runway 36. 10 miles to run. Hopefully I can translate whatever he just said. Didn't sound like a long transmission. There is the runway. God, how cool is it flying in this part of the world? I'm going to fly in Scandinavia more often, you know. Definitely going to fly here more often. Was that to me? 8 nautical miles for localizer ILS 36. Okay, so there's an aircraft coming in behind us. There is as well, Scandinavian 388. I'm going to tell the aircraft VAP now. There you go, it's going down to 125. We'll go flap 3 any moment now. And then right after it, flaps full. Fully configured, ready to land. I am loving this.
2,500.
Yeah, you've said a few times actually, mate. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavia 17 Charlie, runway 36, 5 miles to run. When we get the 1000 call out is when we will deactivate the autopilot. We've got 5 miles now, but I thought, you know, give them early warning. We've got an aircraft a few miles behind us, so we will try and get off the runway as soon as we can. Where are we going to be vacating and where are we going to be parking? There's a question. Hope to vacate at Delta. We took off at stand 20. Where's my pen? So I'm going to land on stand 20. I'm going to note that down on here. Stand 20. Runway 36. This is so pretty. Wow. This is so pretty. I love it. 2 white, 2 red on the pad piece. What else would you expect? It's an Airbus. 1,200 feet. Get the 1000 call out in any second now.
1,000.
Autopilot is out. My aircraft. Let's fly her in.
Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 388 on the localizer, runway 36 with traffic ahead. Notice.
Moving around a little bit. We've got a little wind, but it's coming from ahead of us, so we should be okay. A little bit low. Got 3 red on the pappies right now. There we go, back to 2 white.
100 above. 400.
Oh, it just dipped a lot there.
Minimum.
Continue. Back to 2 white, 2 red, a little bit late there, but that's alright. Looking out the window now.
$50, $40, $30, $20. Retard. 5.
That felt nice. That felt very nice. Auto brakes doing their thing. There's Charlie. And we're going to be off at Delta. Fantastic. Less than 60 knots, so now manual braking. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, vacated runway 36 at Delta. And we got an Xbox achievement for that as well. Oh, don't stop. Oh, I didn't ask you to stop.
Scandinavian 388, 10 mile final, runway 36.
Okay, they've got 10 miles to go yet. Nice. Right then, so we'll hold short here, hopefully clearing that taxiway. Welcome to Tromsø, everybody. Let's park it there. Okay, let's do our after landing checklist, shall we? So, speed brakes will be disarmed. Excuse me. We then have the engine mode in normal, flaps retracted. TCAS goes to standby, that's down here. Put that on TA as well. I should have taken that back to TA. Radar off, predicted wind shear comes off. We then have the APU master switch on. APU start switch comes on a few seconds later. Anti-ice as required, we can turn all those off now. Landing lights come off, and then nose light goes to taxi. Runway turn-offs I never actually put on. Strobe goes into auto. Let's figure out where we're going to be parking as well, shall we? Actually, you know what? While I do that, have a beauty shot. You can hear the APU starting up then. Stand 20, so we're literally just taxiing on Yankee. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 17 Charlie, parking stand 20 via Yankee. 388 on his way in, you can see the landing lights out there. There is the Norwegian that landed ahead of us, the 737 that's parked up just over there. I put no throttle on here, by the way. The aircraft just moves gradually under its own idle power. It's brilliant. You get a little bit of that in the A320ceo as well. Now let's get GSX activated for stand 20, shall we? I do have a profile here. Oh, it says gate only 3 of them. There we go. Gate 20 is suitable. Let's go Aviator, GSX choice. And we can probably watch Scandinavian 388's landing. Is he on Volanta? No, he's only on VATSIM. There's Norwegian, 737. It's actually a max 8, but for us it's showing as just an 8. How many stands along are we? A couple more. 22 that is. 21. 20. So as we turn into the gate... Oh, don't stop. This thing is really, really bad for that. The brakes are very good and it just stops so quickly. Kind of wanted to watch that landing, but they'll be alright. There they are. There's the tug and everything. I say tug and everything, it's just the tug. Whoa, we're speeding up to them here. So hard to be smooth on the brakes when it's bound to a button. I've said that a few times, haven't I? You can hear the aircraft landing behind us. Nice. There we go. Slowed it down just enough. Yeah. Yeah! We'll take that, everybody. Parking brake comes on. Lovely, lovely stuff. Okay, so our after parking checklist is we need to make sure that we've got the APU available. Put the APU bleed on. Engines 1 and 2 off. APU bleed has gone on already. Seatbelt signs come off. And then the beacon light comes off as well. Right then, now we need to get the jetway attached, which it is doing, and then we will request deboarding, shall we? Get everybody off my aircraft. Don't know where the other aircraft is going to line up or anything next to us. We'll have a look. Grief, that guy was in a rush. Right, what I'm going to do now then is get the aircraft in a state where I want everything as it was. I think Drew has messaged me. I've asked him about what I need to keep on at this point, so bear with me. He says batteries stay on, and once you shut down you have the APU running. As you turn that on for taxi in, as per flows, connect GPU and available. Center tank pumps off after shutdown, so that's these two. Then once GPU connected, APU off again until it starts. So GPU connected, APU off. Okay, beautiful. He says leave everything else where it is. That guy was in a massive rush, wasn't he? So, at this point, everybody, I'm now going to stay in the sim. I'm now going to put my flight plan in. I'm going to get the flight plan sorted on SimBrief for our next leg of the journey, and I'll be back with you in just a sec. Right then, let's get back to it, shall we? The aircraft that landed before us, that 737, is now also doing another flight by the look of it. So I'm going to bring in my flight plan, ENTC to ENSB. Let's bring that in. No arrivals available by the look of it onto this place, so we're going to have to try and figure this out as we get going. Runway 09er is the runway we're going to be going in on today, and there is an ILS, which is what makes me very, very happy. Let's go on to... let's go final, shall we? Or Gelfo? Where's the Gelfo one? Oh, that's Arnav. Oh no, we're going up there, so that's alright. Let's go Lalad, shall we? We'll just need to figure out the what's it called, the descent a little bit more manually, much like we did in that previous flight where he said it was the altitude times 3 plus 15. We'll just figure it out that way to make sure we're at the right amount. And now it's time to jump back in the cockpit, and we will get everybody boarding again. So we've already got the jetway connected and everything, so we're going to request boarding. We need to check the fuel and everything. We need to import our new data into here. Oh, okay. No import possible due to boarding or refueling. Ooh, I should maybe have not done that in that order. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to restart the coatl. So kick that off. Import that. Ah, no. Okay, I wonder if now GSX has stopped, we can... Yes! Okay, there we go, right. So, fuel and payload has been imported, that's all golden. We'll get it doing the fuel and everything from SimBrief in... on the flypad. Sorry, there's a lot of things going through my mind right now. Then we'll request boarding on here. The jetway is already connected, so that's absolutely sound. We'll do it via Avinor. I did notice, by the way, during deboarding that the passengers' heads tend to glitch through the top of this jetway. I'm not sure if it's just not tall enough or something, or the passengers are a little bit higher off the ground than they expected, but yeah, they sort of glitch through it. It's quite funny, actually. There's an aircraft landing as well in just a second. That's going to be very loud, but I want to crack on with...
Boarding completed.
Oh, thank you, love. With my journey at hand. So, let me go through my checklist again, shall we? Just need to refresh this, turn it around that way. There's a few little bits that I've had to tidy up on my scratch pad as well, actually, that I didn't fill in on the way in when I was putting like things like the Q and H in, stuff like that, what the arrival was. So I'm going to make sure that I'm a little bit more hot onto it on this one this time round. But yeah, I'm really excited to get this turned around. So let me just figure out all my paperwork and stuff, and we'll get moving, shall we? Right, so we've got all of our fuel on board and everything, so we're going to put the central pumps on, we're going to put the APU and everything on now as well. We don't need the beacon light on, anything like that. Seatbelt signs, auto. I've got the wrong clipboard on my knee once again. So let's go through it as if we're starting afresh. So we've got the APU master start switch, and then start on. APU bleed, crew oxygen supply is on already. ADIRS and our aligned nav and logo is on. Strobe light is auto at the moment. Have we got that off, or is it? Yep, it's on auto. Interior lights is required. Seatbelt signs on. Smoking signs on auto, and emergency exits are armed. Fire tests, let's just do them again anyway, just because why not? At least we've clicked the buttons, we know that it's all good. Fuel pumps on, flight directors on, fuel quantity, baro, MCDU and takeoff data. I happen to know that the baro is now different. It is now 996 as per this here. Temperature outside is -4 degrees. We will get some more de-icing before we push again this time round. We don't need the LS system on anymore. It's time to come down to the MCDU. So we want to go in it, and we do an init request. It should get us ENTC to ENSB. Beautiful. Okay, over to the next thing. Let's get the zero fuel weight in. Block fuel today is 7.4. It's 7383, so we'll put 7.4 in there. Then we want to start getting our perf set up on here. So we want to calculate this. We are ENTC. We are at runway 36. Runway is dry. The winds at the moment are 120 at 9. Temperature is -4 degrees. QNH is 9 at 9.6. Takeoff weight today, estimated takeoff is 68 tons. We are config 1. Thrust is flex. Anti-ice, we will have engine and wing anti-ice packs on. Calculate 130 at flaps 1. 130, 136, 140. 130, 136, 140, and that's at flaps 1. What was the flex to temp on that? It doesn't give us a flex to temp, which is weird. Why did it not give us a flex to temp? Should we just go with what we had before, 64? I know that might not be procedure, but it hasn't given us anything on there, which is really strange. So as far as I know, we just need to then get the departure in. We're on runway 36. We are flying the LOM V7 Alpha departure today. That's 6 X-ray. LOM V7 Alpha departure. And for our arrival, we don't have an arrival in. We're just going to be ILS runway 09 via Lalad. So arrival ILS. Oh, okay. 10. We had 09er. How interesting. So does it really struggle with the arrival? Vavad. Oh, I don't like this. So let's get this onto plan. See how this looks when we get there. So we've got in par, then a discontinuity, then we're literally onto the centre fix. Okay, so maybe we get to in par. That's on here. I'm pretty sure we've got in par on here. That'll be in par. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it doesn't know how to basically link those two up, so that's the centre fix. So we'll carry on in a straight line at in par, add some more track miles to it, and then we'll turn right and we'll just head in that way, almost as if we're being vectored in by ATC. We'll do it that way. We'll obviously calculate the approach and so on. I'm going to take matters into my own hands there, and yeah, once it's got a discontinuity, the aircraft will carry on in a straight line. We'll leave that in so it does so it doesn't turn without me expecting it. We also need to look at the departure on here, and we need to check what is, yeah, as we get to Lomvi, doesn't look like there's any restriction or anything. Contact Tromso. Initial climb clearance, flight 090. Okay, so we'll go to 9,000 feet on the initial altitude. On there, let's get the checklist again. Just make sure there's anything else we need to do before we get ready to start the aircraft. I think we're all golden. We'll turn the external power off. We'll just power it off the APU. So before start then, windows and doors are all closed. We need to get rid of the jetway. Let's operate that. Get that sausage out of here. Go away. There we go. Okay, windows and doors closed. Beacon light will come on. Pretty sure when you do that, it prepares you for pushback and departure anyway. Thrust levers are definitely in idle. Parking brake. APU is on. APU bleed is on. External power is disconnected. Engine switch will go into ignition and start. Let's request pushback and departure, shall we? Do you want de-icing treatment? No then. We'll put it on wing and engine. Okay, so we are not having our engines on until we have pushed yet again. Let's just make sure. You can see the guy on the left hand side there.
Hello,
where are we going to be pushing to?
Pushback.
Onto Yankee, facing south. Tug is now about to connect. How is it you reset this clock? I can't remember. Ah, there you go. I'm really excited to be doing a turnaround. I don't know what it is specifically that excites me about it, but yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for this. I can still see the moon up there. Can you believe actually right now it's 10:15 in the morning and it's dark? It's crazy. So nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes off. We're not starting the engines until we get fully pushed back.
Please
Back.
stand by.
For your convenience, aircraft has 3 restrooms, one in front of
back to for exchange. We'll be able to speak on the line for departure. There's one line left.
Admittedly, I didn't announce anything on Unicom that I was pushing back, but I knew there was no other aircraft around me because I was having a little look around between some of the shots that you would have seen. So, it's all good. Don't worry about that. I know I should be in the habit of doing it, but it is what it is in this circumstance.
Set parking brakes.
We have.
Unlocking gear.
Thank you. The aircraft will be lowered down, and then we'll be ready to start. Engines. Okay, he's just told us that left is clear, right is clear. He should appear over there somewhere in just a moment with the bypass pin. There he is. And he's not so high vis. He'll tell us in a second that we're clear to start engines. You can see, look at this. The ice on the windscreen.
Clear to start engines.
Wow. I've never noticed that before. How do we put it on the windscreen? Can we do that? Probe heating window. There you go. Wow. It's just cleared it. That's so cool. Right then, clear to start engines. Over to ignition and start. Engine number 2 coming on. I'm glad I found that switch, because that could have caused me some massive issues, couldn't it, further down the line. Flipping out. It's a good thing we've got that. Okay, so we're waiting to see available on there. There's the bus transfer changing over. Should say at any time it gets to about 19. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to start engine number 1, left-hand engine. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 1 Charlie Delta preparing to taxi to runway 36 via Yankee.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Yes, indeed. Please do. Right then, both engines are on, so what we're going to do now is turn the APU off. So engine mode goes back to normal. Flaps get set, flaps 1, and we're also going to bring the speed brakes to the armed position. Flipping it, they're all the way down there. I missed them for a sec there. We then put the APU bleed off, then put the APU master switch off. Anti-ice as required, which we have sorted out. ECAM status is checked. Pitch trim, rudder trim is 0, and then we have the runway turn-offs on. We have the nose light to taxi, and we'll do a brake test. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 1 Charlie Delta, taxiing runway 36 via Yankee. Predicted wind shear is off, that's come up on the ECAM, let's just whack that on. We are still squawking, so we're going to go on auto and TA for those. Rudder trim is actually set to the left by the look of it a little bit there. Let's set the rudder trim, even though I said it was 0. It never really moves, so teaches me, doesn't it? Okay, auto brakes going on to max. We've got the initial altitude all set. Predicted wind shear on, terrain on ND as required. Auto brakes max. ECAM memo should be no blue, but we'll sort all that out. We'll hold short. Scandinavian 1 Charlie Delta holding short runway 36. Tromsø traffic. It's mad conditions because this is like the middle of the day, so it's not going to get any brighter than this, but it's also not like going completely pitch black darkness either. Because this thing stops. Like, I wasn't touching the brakes then when it actually came to a stop. Come on. Come on. Okay, cabin just needs checking, that's pretty much all. For some reason the auto thrust isn't on. Does it come on the ground? Or does it arm when you get moving? Takeoff config is normal. Let's just redo the takeoff config check, because it should ask me to do it again, really. I'm going to hold short here, just check there's nothing else. So before takeoff then, ECAM memo no blue. Landing lights are going to come on, nose light to take off, strobe light on, runway turn-offs on. Are we ready? Because I feel ready, flaps are all good to go. Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 1 Charlie Delta departing runway 36. Start the little clocky. Let's do all of our lights. So strobe goes to on, runway turn-offs, landing lights, nose light to take off. Parking brake is off, but the aircraft just isn't moving. I think it's because the nose wheel was just slightly over to the left for a second. Here we go, everybody. Our second flight in one video. It's crazy. That's the first time I've ever done that. And no, don't make any jokes about me having a really bouncy landing. But we are now heading very far north to Tromsø. Sorry, from Tromsø to Longyearbyen in Svalbard. Okay, let's get it up to 50%. Stabilised. Let's go. Okay. Manflex 64 SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue. 60 knots. 80 knots. Oh, my thrust lever's got a little bit of play in it, so that's why it's doing that. 100 knots. V1 rotates. Positive rate, gear up. Nice smooth rotation on that one. What a pretty departure. Look at that. Like a Christmas card, isn't it? Flying the departure to the flight director. It'll ask us for thrust levering to climb any moment now. We'll announce when we get to 1,500 feet.
1,000.
Tromsø traffic, Scandinavian 1 Charlie Delta passing 1,500 feet. Thrust levering to climb. The aircraft continues to climb. Look at that valley down there, that's so awesome. I know it's only pixels, but it's just really cool when you're sort of immersed in the cockpit like this and you get to see all that scenery around you. I'm going to continue flying the departure until we get to S speed and put the flaps in, then obviously we'll clean up and do our after takeoff checklist. The aircraft is accelerating nicely right now. S speed, flaps up, autopilot coming in. Fantastic. Okay, so our after takeoff checklist then, the landing gear came up, the flaps were retracted, packs back on, which I tend not to turn them off for takeoff, probably should. Speed brakes have been disarmed, nose light comes off, runway turn-offs come off as well. Landing lights as required, seatbelts as required. Fan Dabby Dozy. Next thing will be seatbelt signs and landing lights when we get to 10,000. Beauty shot time. Okay, we want to go into standard pressure. Yep, it's fine, because what we're going to do now is climb to flight level 370. One thing I didn't check, yes, we do have it in there, that's absolutely fine. What we're also going to do is put in ENSB, and it is runway, well, I've got it as 10, but let's try that. Yeah, it knows. 500 nautical miles up north then, and we are, as I can show you via SimBrief, just going literally over water all the way up, look. We get past Lomvi and it's all sea all the way up there. So we're going to then obviously calculate how far we need to be for our descent. So it's going to be the same again. It's going to be 126 nautical miles on this screen. So once it gets to that, that's when we're going to start descending, get down to the necessary altitude to intercept the ILS and everything else at runway either 09 or 10, depending on where you get the information from. But a lovely, lovely departure, that. Really pleased with that one. And hopefully you're enjoying it as well, everybody. And hopefully you too, Graham. Thank you once again for chartering these flights. Right, we continue our climb then. I've just turned the landing lights, seatbelt signs and everything off. I've also turned the wing and engine anti-ice off, but part of me isn't confident leaving it off, so I'm just going to whack it all back on. I might not need it all the way there. I don't know what other effect it has on the aircraft that's negative, so yeah, we're getting some great frame rate up here, by the way, because there's nothing here. We are so north in the world. Let me show you. This is the world, and look at where everybody is. We're here. We're one of the most northern people in the world flying right now. Look at this for a journey. Look at that for a journey. That's crazy, isn't it? Finnair to Narita, and they're an Airbus A340-600. However, we are one of the most northern flights in the world right now. You've got to be joking me. Jimmy Nutt is squawking 700, I think. Oh, he's global A380. Yeah, apparently squawking 7700. I think people on Volanta just do it for attention. Anyway, I'm loving life in the A320neo again. It's great to fly the fly-by-wire. We'll continue climbing and get to our cruising altitude, shall we? Right then, we're at a point now where we need to get our destination data in. We're going to be intercepting the ILS at 3,000 feet. It's telling us even on here now to enter the destination data. Air pressure is 1005 down there, so we're going to go to Perth, next phase, and there. 1005, did I just say? I'm going to put it in either way. I'm going to get the temperature is -9, and the winds at the moment are 140 at 9. 140 at 9. The baro minimums were on there, which is 631. Sorted. And let's check our prog. 144 to the runway, so we're going to be descending at 126 miles to go. So we're going to come over to this switch here. No, we're not going up, we're going down. And we're going to put that at, what was the final waypoint there? 3,000. So Lolvo, it wants 4,000, but I don't think we've got Lolvo in there. So we're going to go for, oh God, we're going to go for 3,000, 126 miles out. It's gone properly dark now, so yeah, we've not quite got the sunrise that we had earlier on in the flight, but still, enjoying myself up here in the A320neo once again. Not as much to show on this flight, unfortunately, but still, it is what it is, and it's been great to do a turnaround and do a second leg. Okay, on the prog page we're 130 miles away, so I'm going to hit descend now. I'm going to get the aircraft to manage it. I'm going to ask it for 3,000 feet. Just clicked that and the plane is starting to descend now. So looking at the charts, looking at the entire sort of journey, we're still a while away, but that's going to come up to us very, very quickly, that is. So I'm not going to take any messing about. And also we're adding more track miles to this. We're going to go straight here, then turn. So this is calculating it based on 130 miles in a perfectly straight line to that point. So we should be all golden. But yeah, now we're into our descent here into Longyearbyen, which is still something I'm still not used to saying. We've not dropped a whole lot of height here, so what I'm going to do is what I did on the first leg, and I'm going to pull for open descent now. So hopefully the aircraft should descend a bit more steeply if I tell it to. So we're at 1,000 feet a minute down at the moment. Let's try and go 2,000, shall we? Let's ask it for a bit more drop. It might go a little bit quickly here, so we might need a little bit of speed brake to help out with that, but I'd rather get down sooner rather than later. Although, you know what? Let me quickly whack this on here. Oh no, we're going to be well down well early. Look, if I move this, so what I'm looking at is the blue arrow on here, which, well, should be there, but it's actually now, there you go, look, it's calculated it there. So if I then move it closer, is it going to, yeah, oh, if we do that, it thinks it's going to be there by the decel point. Do it there. Yeah, we'll stay at 1,800 and that'll get us down just in time. So let's continue our descent, shall we? I'm just a little bit scared that I'm going to get this slightly wrong here, but yeah, we should be at the right altitude before there. So maybe, oh God, shallow it out a little bit. It's fine. Drew actually messaged me just earlier and I was explaining to him that I was using his 3 times the height plus 15 method, and he said that the best place to be is at 5,000 feet and at 210 knots with the runway in sight. He says you're always safe as long as you can get down to that. You'll be able to slow it down enough and still get it on the ground. So yeah, we should be golden. We're at 26,700 feet now. We're still maintaining 1,700 feet a minute down, and also we have a headwind of 31 knots, so the aircraft is really being pushed back, so it's helping us bring the puppy down nice and smoothly. Got to put seatbelt signs on as well at this point, because usually you'd sort of bring them on under 10,000 feet, but from what I remember they tend to turn them on as soon as you start descending. So there we go, we'll whack them on. Just checking Volanta, and there's actually an aircraft taking off from ENSB to Amsterdam. They're flying basically the same route back, that same way through Norway, but it doesn't say what they are. KKA885, what's KKA? What airline is that? Kazavia, apparently. K-A-Z-A-V-A. Let's have a look at Kazavia Airlines. An airline from Kazakhstan. And they fly Antonov AN2s. What? I think somebody hasn't set their information up correctly, either that or they're just having a muck about. It's actually a bit of shine off the water there where the moon is reflecting down. You can see a lot of the islands still. So while it's not exactly fully nighttime, it's still pretty dark up here. UTC is 11:39 right now, so that means it's actually 20 to 1 local time where I am right now. Why is my stick not working? It does this, you know. My stick eventually, let me just, yeah, parking brake still works. Every so often my stick disconnects, and I don't know why. Look, I'm full rudder left and right here, and it's not coming on. So let me just, hang on. See that? Let me just whack the dome light on, make sure this is moving, because I don't want to do it too hard, and we just... No. See, I'm moving the stick and it's not doing anything. That's really weird, because I use it to reset my view, you see, and put it in the middle, and the button to do that isn't working. How odd. There we go, it's working now. How strange. Ice not detected, and we've got wing anti-ice and engine anti-ice still on, just because I want to make sure. We're actually getting to 10,000 feet now, so we're going to put landing lights on. We need to make sure we've got everything else all set up and ready. So, for landing, now we're going to get to 10,000 feet. I'm going to put landing system on, just in case it can pick anything up in the meantime. I want to get my medium auto brakes ready at this stage, and I'm not going to use any speed brakes, so we're going to whack that on. Speed limit exceeded, it says. Yes, I know. The aircraft will slow down, don't worry. We are on TA and RA at present. We are on the transponder. We weren't, but we are now. So let me show you what the plan is. So we're going to fly this way. We're going to stay at 3,000 feet here, turn in, and then intercept the ILS and come in. Simple, really. What else do we need to do then? We need to just make sure we've got the minimums set. We've got the barrow in. The minimums are in there, look. 631. What is the local barrow? We need to change to 1005. So let me just make sure we've got that in. To be fair, the transition altitude is 7,000 feet, so we'll be changing into that anyway very soon. I was a little bit late on that, to be honest with you. Minimums are all set and everything, so yeah, it's all good to me. We do have runway 09er listed on some software, and then runway 10 on others. I've got 10 in the aircraft, so I'm going to put that on here. There's no applicable arrival, and QNH is 1005. So we're going to vacate the runway at the only place you can vacate the runway, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I wonder if we can get off at Alpha. Alpha, Bravo, or Charlie. And we're going to go to stand... Let's go stand 2. And all we've got to do is choose which of those taxiways we end up at. We're going to be... I'm just noting this down for future reference. 3,000 by INPAR. And we're going to remain on the same heading that we're on now. We're heading 341. Standard pressure it wants us to come out of. Oh, no. Oop, there we go. 1005. And then we're going to go heading 341. And then we're going to go directly to CF. I'm just writing all this down because I think this could be quite a cool airport to come back to in future. So, let me know in the comments at this point what you reckon. Alpha, Bravo or Charlie, where do you think we will be vacating the runway? We're on auto brakes medium, so it should be Bravo at least. Don't think we'll need to go all the way to Charlie. There's a big mountain here to the right hand side. Not quite sure where the airport is actually. I think it's just over... Is it down there somewhere? I think it's over here. No, that's a bit close, isn't it? It's interesting to be flying around here at night actually, and still see all the mountains and everything, because they're just covered in snow, so they're just white. So now the aircraft is going to get to this point. We're going to hit 3,000 feet. We are going a bit fast here actually, so we could have done with a bit of speed braking. You could hear it disarm then, the little click. So we're at 3,000 feet. We've got a crosswind. The aircraft now should, this may come up with whatever heading we're at, because the aircraft doesn't know where it wants me to go. So it's going to come out of managed and say, right, this is your responsibility now, mate. Yep, that was it there. Look, there's the heading. It's come up. Take the speed brake out. We're heading 344. We should be under 250 knots. There is CF and ENSB. So we're going to keep going until that has disappeared off the screen and then make our turn in. So we're going to remain at 3,000 feet now. We're going to bring the speed down to 210. I'm going to tell the aircraft we want 210 knots. Once we start dropping below this, we can put some flaps in and prepare it. We've got landing system on. Don't think we're close enough to intercept the ILS yet, and we're not even facing the right direction anyway, so we should be good. Why are you turning? That's interesting. I don't know if that's something to do with the magnetic North Pole or anything, whether it's figuring out that, you know, we need to start turning in a different direction. We're 4,000 feet below profile, so it knows that somewhere along this line we want to be landing. Well, I want it to continue. Oh yeah, it's gone heading 000 now rather than 344. I didn't change that. That is mighty interesting. So, almost pitch black out of the windows, but I'm excited to hopefully land at ENSB. It should be just over there somewhere at the moment. Can't see it at present. We'll find it. There's a big mountain there. I think we're going to need a little bit more height. We're going to need 5,000. Sorry, climb for me. I think that's why it said 5,000 at that particular waypoint earlier on. I think it was Lalad 5,000, so we're not actually supposed to be over land at this stage. That was a little bit naughty, that. I probably should have followed it to where Lalad is, or stayed at 5,000 feet rather than the ILS, but that's on me. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go direct CF now. Direct to CF. So the aircraft has got it in managed. Going to tell it 3,000 feet. It's going to start descending. Look at these hills here, beautiful. So there is the runway ahead. You can see the lights now. So we're going to bring the speed down to 180. We can go flap 2 very soon. Going to arm the approach now. Although it hasn't... Oh, do we have to click localizer? Hasn't got anything tuned in for an ILS. Very interesting. Isn't letting me click approach. Can we tune that manually? Where does that go? Does it go in here? Hasn't got our cruise in there. I think that's because I went above on the controls earlier on and then down again. Ah, ILS frequency, it doesn't have it. Okay, let's quickly grab that from the chart, shall we? So localizer is 110.3, course is 095. 110.3. Course is 095. What's the slope, does it say? Don't think that any of that does it? Descent angle 3. No. Sugar. Eesh. Okay. It's tuned. I'm intrigued to see whether this works. It's coming down. Have I just done that myself and been a very clever boy? If I've done that, I'm actually going to be well proud of myself. Because I don't usually mess with the RadNav page. Yeah, Cat 1, Cat 3 single. Hello. So, that's 10 miles. At 7.5 to go, I'm going to bring the gear down and we'll start slowing it down. Just so we make sure we're definitely slowing down as of 6. Drew always says 180 miles. 180 knots to 6. Got auto brakes. Speed brakes are now armed. Let me just check the checklist again. Flaps are going to be set very shortly when we get there. ECAM memo, no blue. Got the minimums in. Got the Barrow in. QNH 1005. It is still that, as according to this screen on here. And most of all, Graham, thank you very much for chartering these 2 flights. It's taken me to a very interesting part of the world, and it's been really cool to see this. And do a turnaround as well. My first turnaround, it's been a bit of a challenge, even with the A320neo being a lot more flyable. We've gone past the path by the look of it. Oh, excuse me a second while I go chasing that diamond. I'm so sorry. We're going to tell the aircraft to do that now, and we're going to bring gear down.
2,500.
I want to go chasing that diamond. I'm not pointing the nose completely down. I'm trying to keep the nose level. Oh, I'm a bit disappointed by that. If I click approach again. It's got Cat 1 and then it'll say Cat 3 single probably, but yeah, it just isn't. It isn't capturing the... it didn't go with the diamond, it didn't get the glide slope sorted. I'm pointing the nose down a little bit here. It's told me where it is, but it just didn't start flying it, so I wonder what I did wrong there. I'm sure someone will be able to tell me. It still thinks I should be at 3,000 feet. Pointing the nose down quite a bit here. Need to go over to the left a little bit. I'm just looking at this screen trying to fly it to this. There. Glide slope.
1,000.
Do you have the glide slope? I mean, it's got it. I'm going to fly it at this point though. Once it catches that diamond, let's just see what it does.
100 above.
Yeah, it's doing it.
Minimum.
Continue. Yeah, it got it. It got it in the end. That's really weird. It didn't get it the first time round. I wonder whether it's because I had approach in before I clicked that. I don't know. I'm taking the autopilot out now. I'm going to have it. Okay. Welcome to one of the most northern airfields in the world, everybody. ENSB. There's no pappies here, so you can't moan at me. A little bit below it. I'm hoping these auto brakes do their thing, because this is not a long runway. Landing lights lighting up the place. A little bit low.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Whoa, quite a heavy touchdown. A little bit of a wiggle as well. God, the airfield is very wrinkly. God, them auto brakes. Okay, we're already less than 60 knots, so I'm going to be manual braking now. I'm going to start to let it roll a little bit. Welcome to Longyearbyen, Svalbard, everybody. Yeah, this runway is very wrinkly and wavy, isn't it? Flipping out. Now, this is the standard Microsoft Flight Simulator one. I was told it was updated in World Update 5. We're going to get off here at Alpha. Can you believe that? Turning left. Off at Alpha. God, the A320neo strikes again. Oh, overdone it a little bit on the steering there. Okay, we're going to get past this line here and then hold short of the apron just so we can be sure where we're going. It's not going to be a pretty airport, I can tell you that. It's not going to be anything to look at in terms of buildings. But God, we are so far north now. I'm going to hold it here. And we're going to put the parking brake on. So after landing checklist, let's disarm the speed brakes. And let's put the engine mode into normal, as if it came out of it. Flaps retracted. TCAS goes on to standby. That's that switch there. We're going to put that onto just TA as well. Radar off. Predicted wind shear comes off. APU master switch and start switch comes on. Then we have the anti-ice as required. Landing lights come off, and nose light goes to taxi. Strobe light goes to auto. Runway turn-offs are already off. We have chosen stand 2 for this one, so I'm going to see if GSX will get me in at stand 2. It says no suitable parking. That's fine, we'll just park along here and see if we can find stand 2 anywhere at this point. So we should be going right here. Stand 2 is just over there, so we should sort of go around. There's the yellow line. My apologies. You've got to sort of go around in a square here. It's a very small airfield, this, so you have to be very friendly with your parking. So 2 is actually right in front of us, so we're going to sort of go like this, and then I think maybe I should have gone the other way to do that. See what I mean? I'm going to swing it around. We'll do a loop here. We'll sort of just swing around that way. Once we get to this joint here, we're going to just swing around. Actually, you know what? We'll park over here. because this is where they do all the de-icing. So we'll whack it on here, on this big white line, and then on this sort of curve of it, we'll straighten the aircraft up. And I'm just going to whack it here for now. There's nobody else about. We're not getting anyone's way. Otherwise, I'll be parking forever. So, parking brake comes on, everybody, and with that, we then have the nose light coming off. We didn't sort of turn into a gate to turn that off anyway. Runway turn-offs are off. APU bleed comes on, and then we have the engine masters 1 and 2 coming off. Okay, then we go up top, we turn the seatbelts off, beacon, and then all the fuel pumps come off as well. Mint, let's see if we can get GSX to just deboard it from here. No. No, we can't. It's fine, don't worry about it. But welcome everybody to Svalbard, Longyearbyen, one of the most northern airports in the world. Thanks once again to Graham for chartering this turnaround flight today, this pair of flights. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. It's been breathtaking. It's going to be a long video editing session, but I cannot wait to do it and walk you through all of this flight once again. Don't forget, you too can charter flights via my website. There's a link for that in the description. I've got another one coming up soon as well, which is going to take me to a very interesting location over near the United States, and hopefully you'll join me for that video as well. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.